Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this video I want to give you some of my best tips to get your photography business started. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge. I'm a French photographer from the amazing cities of Paris, France, living in Los Angeles. I've been wanting to do this video for a while to help you get your photography business started. Actually, a couple of days ago, I met a good friend of mine who's one of my students. His name is Alex Zahor from Virtual Here Studio, and he has a business of doing real estate in Los Angeles, and he's been following my tutorials. We even did tutorials together, and he was explaining me how much money he was making and how he was booming. And it gave me the idea that, and I have a few other students like Charlie Simon. Charlie Simon is a photographer in Marbella. He's got like 6 staff on duty to take photos. He's got a great team, and he really has a booming business. I have David Emmanuel Cohen in Paris, who created an amazing company where he's got contract to shoot hotels all over the world. And all these people started with basically the formula I'm going to give you. If you can monetize your passion, then you don't have to work another day in your life because you will be doing what you love. And I find that interior design photography or real estate photography is one of the easiest way to start making money. Even if you want to get into fine art or fashion, being able to make money right now with your gear, with your photography, is really important. I started interior design photography and eventually went into fine art as my business grew. And this is what I advise you. So this is really to get started, to make your first money. This is some of my best tips. So let's get started. Tip number 1, be confident that you are capable of doing professional interior or real estate photography. If you don't think your photography is professional enough to be sold to people, to make money with, then you need to train. In this video, I give you a link of a whole bunch of free videos where I show you some of my best techniques to take photography, interior design photography or real estate photography. And also I have an amazing interior design photography course, which is about 8 hours that will fully train you on it. The link is below this video. Once you think your photography is good enough and you can really exchange for money, then let's go on tip number 2. And tip number 2 is have a website with very little photo and only your best. Now I gotta tell you this story. Years ago, I got a deal with Nike, and I spoke to one of the professional buyer at Nike, and I asked them, why did you pick me? And his answer was, because we can tell you're professional because you don't have much photos on your website. And I said, what do you mean? He says, well, it's very funny. As a professional buyer, I see a lot of photographer website, and every time I see somebody with lots of photos, I know it's an amateur, it's somebody who's trying to become a pro. And but you have very little photos per your category. You only had like about 10 photos. And it's true, if you look at my website, sergerameliphotos.com, which I've been using for years, which has been extremely successful for me, it's got maybe 10 to 15 photos per category. Also, Scott Kelby, a good friend of mine, I think only has 20 photos per category, and every time he adds a photo, he has to take one out. Also, I once spoke to a web designer that was working with 10 photographers. Some of them were making over $1 million a year as photographer. And there was an agency, and each photographer only had 10 photos to show their work. So this made me realize that the key is to have very little photo, but only the best of the best of the best. You see, if you're a wedding photographer or you're a real estate photographer and you have, 80 photos and 20 are spectacular, but 60 are kind of average, you're killing your 20 best. So having just the best of the best, having a great website is amazing to do that. I totally recommend Squarespace. You can check the link below. I have a whole tutorial on how to make a website with Squarespace. Tip number 3. Locate all the hotels and real estate agents in your region. So wherever you are, you have websites that will give you all the real estate houses, apartments to be sold in your area. In the US, it's like Zillow.com. In France, it's like Sologer.com. Or you can also use Booking.com. That's what I used to use to find hotels in your area. But then you have to use Google to find the actual official website. But what I used to do is I used to go on Bookings.com, look at the photo they had on Bookings, and locate the hotels which were kind of fancy but didn't have amazing photos. And then I would Google them, contact them directly, and then try to convince them to work with me. There is an optional step. Let's say that you're just getting started and you don't have any photos to show to hotels or real estate agency with your website. Then of course there's an optional step where you can contact the same agencies and says, I will shoot a photo for free. Like I know a friend, he went into his town, took the best hotel, says, can I take some photos for free? He went there, like the Four Seasons and amazing hotels. And in about 2 days, he had an amazing portfolio of 7 beautiful photos of some of the best hotels in the city. And now he had a website and he was ready to start making money. So you have to build your portfolio first. And one good way to do that is to contact the agencies and says you will work for free, and give them the photo in exchange. Most of them will say yes. Okay, so now you got a website, you only have your best of your best photos, you got great photos. The next step is to contact them. Before you give up, you have to speak to at least 200 real estate agencies or hotels. Now that is very important. I know so many people who gave up after 10 phone calls. I had a way to motivate myself, which is I would take a sheet of paper and do a line for every hotel that I would call. And I would never stop until I've spoken to at least 50 hotels or real estate agency. It just forces you to stay. Usually it would take me about 2 to 4 hours. And out of 50 people, I would only speak to about 13 actual marketing manager or manager, and usually get 1 or 2 appointments. But this 1 or 2 appointments usually came to a sale. So I knew in my mind that contacting 50 hotels or 50 agencies was one sale. And I would do this every Tuesday or every Thursday. That was the days of the week that I thought always worked the best. And usually this gave me 2 photo shoots per week, which is 8 photo shoots per month. And that is quite some money and you can make a great living out of it. But don't give up until you've contacted at least 200 hotels or agencies. I know so many people who did it and it was so successful. In fact, one of the photographers I gave an example is a friend who really had trouble starting. He was really running out of money. And I gave him the advice to at least contact 200 hotels and he did. And now he's one of the most successful, if not the biggest interior design photographer in Paris. And he was about to give up. So that's why I said, don't give up unless you've spoken to at least 200 people. Point number 6, use my price guideline to know how much you should charge for your photography. I created a PSD document that you can edit, you can change your price, you can put in your own logo, your own email address, and it's just a base to give you an idea how much you can start charging for your photography when you get started. It's either per photo or per time past taking photos. You can download this PSD file and the link is below this video. Point number 7, post your work on social media to show that you are working and to grow your following. Now that is very important. Post your work and show that you're working on all social media. Facebook, Google+, Twitter, 500px, Instagram being the most important. And it shows that you're working, post your best photos, and also tell people they can hire you. And if you do that, you're gonna grow your social media and you're gonna get more customers. And also, more you're gonna grow in your social media, more you can get into other types of photography, different types of photography like portraits or fashion or fine art, which usually takes a little celebrity to get into. But as you grow as an interior, that's what I did. I grew as an interior design photographer. And also I was working on personal projects like Paris, and I was posting this a lot on social media, and eventually I got hired to do fine art photography, which I like even better than interior design, although I love to do interior design photography. Anyways, I wish you the best success. I hope these tips will help you get started in doing your photography. I know it did help a lot of people. Don't forget to download the price list so you have an idea how much you can charge for your photography. I hope you like this video. If you do, please click a like and give it one thumbs up. It really helps me. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and click that little bell. The little bell will make sure you get a notification every time a new video comes out. Mesdames et messieurs, I will see you in another video. Au revoir.